Jacob, all you.
Okay. I'm going to present to you on how to present yourself for an interview. Mr. Gross is always telling us how important interviews are in our lives, and I thought it would be a good idea to show you guys some basic tips for how to present yourself. Okay. So the way you present yourself is just as, if not more important than what you're actually presenting. This infographic shows that nonverbal communication is 55% of how people see what you're saying. So one of the most important parts of presenting yourself is your body language. So with that, you should consider context when reading body language. Should someone be acting the way they are in the situation that you're in? You should look for clusters of actions, not just isolated ones. So if they're all behaviors associated with one thing, then they're obviously going and creating a pattern for you to read their body language. You should also get a baseline for the person. If they're acting the way they normally act, if they normally, for example, are like jittery and making odd motions and acting weird, then maybe that's just how they are acting for the interview. You should also be aware of your biases. If you're tempted to cut somebody slack before they even say anything, then you're obviously biased towards them. 30% of your opinion of a person comes from your first impression of them. So your first impression should be a really good one. Body language, as I said, is a very important part of how you present yourself. So you want to mimic the body language used by the interviewer. Many traditional workplaces believe that a good handshake is a sign of trustworthiness. So when you're giving a handshake, you should be firm, but not, I call it bone cruncher. Shouldn't be too hard on them. In addition, you should wipe your hands off before you do, because you don't want to give a wet handshake. That's like definite no-no. As well, you should have good posture. Having good posture shows that you have confidence in what you're speaking about. And you should gesture when you're talking and have enthusiasm about the topic. There's some definite don'ts when you're giving when you are having an interview. You don't want to cross your body at all, because it shows that you don't want to cross your body when you're giving an interview, because you don't want to try to show that you're superior. In addition, you don't want to hide your hands when you're speaking, because it gives the impression that you're shifty. You don't want to have too much eye contact, because it's scary. And you shouldn't have inappropriate facial expressions when you're talking. This is more about the perfect handshake. You should always use your right hand when you're going in for a handshake, but if the employer has gone in with their left hand, then you want to use your left hand too, so that it's not awkward. As I said, you want to make sure your hands are dry. You want to be firm and confident with your handshake, and don't be too hard, but don't like do a limp hand. You want to smile and make eye contact with the person as you are shaking the hand, because it will give the impression that you're more confident. I came up with some names for the bad handshakes. The dead fish is basically, Mitchell, is basically you just kind of barely touch their hands. The next one is the sloppy kisser. That would be really wet hands it's like, just like wiping sweatiness all over their hand. The bone crusher is grabbing their hand really hard when you're shaking. And the BFF is coming in for something that's not necessarily a handshake. So like, if you're going in for an interview, you don't want to do like fist bump, and you don't want to do like a high five, like, or a hug. Those just aren't appropriate for business. And then these are my sources.